Welcome back, you anime card loving people out there, or should I say manga, or should I add in there mobile slash video games at this point because we've got so many announcements and they include a bunch of those genres in there. Now, this video is going to cover why I think Weiss Schwarz is totally afraid of the competition. This is speculation on my part because they're never going to confirm it, and I will say, I've been here for about 3 years, over 3 years actually, and I do love Weiss Schwarz. I wouldn't have been sitting here all this time if I didn't. And this comes out of concern and love for the game versus anything else. So there's going to be some people that take this the wrong way, but I am not an echo chamber. I'm going to tell you the truth about what's going on here with Weiss Schwarz. Hopefully they take the criticism, make some sort of change. But you know what? They haven't answered me before, and I don't imagine they will be doing that soon. Now, we have on the JP release announcement. By the way, I was away celebrating my life, or not my life, but the life of my grandma. And I will say up front here that you're an amazing grandma. I love you so much, and I miss you. Now, JP Weiss Schwarz made an announcement. Nikke Goddess of Victory is coming out December 13th, 2024. We also got to hear about ReZero Volume 3 didn't go to Rebirth for you, so there you go. You also have Fujimi Volume 2 and Sneaker Bunko Volume 2. Now, you're thinking to yourself, is this coming out to English? And, I think about this one, and ReZero totally should be coming out to English, and I would imagine a bunch of reprints. But what about the other ones? And then, you know what, Weiss Schwarz English, you know what they did? They threw us a bone. They said, Weiss Schwarz Goddess of Victory Nikke is coming in multiple languages. We are working hard to bring it to many players around the world. Stay tuned for more information. And you think to yourself about this, and you sit here and go, okay, does that mean there's going to be multiple releases at the same time? They tried that with Tokyo Revengers. It failed, but you know what? I will give them their credit. They tried, and I think that's amazing. I wish we could have that more often. I know people are going to say errata, but if you take a look at the JP releases, there's errata on there, and that's in JP. That's their first release, so they should have hit that, right? So when it comes out for other languages, I don't really blame on it. Erratas happen, just how it's going to be. Now, when you think about this one, if they're not multiply releasing this thing out here, why would they tell you up front about this? Why don't they tell you about other IPs? Imagine if they told you about Dengeki Bunko. How many people would be really happy if they told you Dengeki Bunko was coming out to English and spared them from buying it in JP? I think a ton of people would be happy. I think that would be a step in the right direction and something they should change, but they haven't done that. So why are they doing it with this? And my speculation leads me to this. We got Union Arena Nikke Goddess of Victory. It came out on March 22nd, 2024. It did really well, and if you didn't actually see the cards, well, here you go. We have some of these higher hits. Take a look at these. Imagine, you got signatures on here. You got something that reminds me of a Weiss Schwarz premium booster box hit. Now, you take a look. You also have action points. And what is this on this card? It looks like a hand signature. It also looks like a serial number in the top right. And it also looks like this was a great success. It sold out, and there's going to be a reprint. The action point right there is not going to be included, but you are going to be able to purchase this product. I know when Nikke was announced for Weiss Schwarz, there are people that regretted in a way that they bought some of the Union Arena because they thought they would never actually end up coming. And it is coming now. And when you think about that social media post, to me, it says, don't buy the Union Arena reprint. We're coming out with our own version. But you think about that as well. You're not going to see that for at least 6 months. You're going to have quite a bit of time. Well, maybe 6 months. Maybe they prove me wrong. 3 months. So maybe in 3 months you get the Weiss Schwarz version, but I highly doubt that. But we're going to see it in Weiss Schwarz eventually. Again, why'd they put the post out there? And this is what I'm coming up with. I'm coming up with horrible competition on their side. And just to prove it to you, I have quarterly numbers. I'm going to try to go through this as quick as possible because numbers are painful for people, right? We got Q3 results for Bushiroad. Best part of being a public company, I have access to this information because you have to report on it. If you're a private company, then you wouldn't have to tell me anything about this. But you can see in the green, net sales of Japanese version that is inside of Japan. The yellow is net sales of Japanese version overseas shipments. You also have like that reddish looking color, net sales of foreign language versions. So on the slide, the important part is off to the right. It says overall sales are somewhat soft in the third quarter due to the impact of weak sales of English language version, which is sold mainly in North America. It doesn't tell you which game caused this weakness. It's just saying English language version in North America. So if you're wondering what these different versions, foreign languages are, you got Weiss Schwarz English, Weiss Schwarz Chinese, Cardfight Vanguard English, Shadowverse Evolve English, and Chinese version of Cardfight. Now, if I missed any of these, feel free to add that in the comments. But you know what? Going over here now, I'm going to show you one last thing. This is quarter two sales. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I got to do some math here, right? They don't actually have the full year results. They only got first, second, and third quarter. So what I'm doing here is I'm pulling the numbers from the first two quarters, and then I'm also taking the third, subtracting it from each other, and we end up with the softness. Again, overall sales are somewhat soft in the third quarter due to the impact of weak sales of the English language version, which is sold mainly in North America. They don't break that part out for you. I don't know the game that it was. I don't know what language, since we have the English one and then we also have the Chinese one added together. But you can see here, these are in million of yen. So if you go back here to this slide, you'll see a part in the top left. It'll say million yen. I know it's tiny. Feel free to check out investor relations. If you don't trust any of my math here, because in the end I could be wrong, but go ahead and do the math yourself. Well, we end up here with JP and JP softness negative 523.5, JP overseas minus 71, foreign minus 183, giving you a total of minus 779.5. What I did here was I took the quarter one, quarter two, I took the quarter three, did a bunch of math, and you can see that here. Do it again for yourself if you so choose to do so. But in the end, it was kind of curious to me because when you take a look, the JP and JP looks pretty soft to me. But maybe they expected that they did, or maybe they just didn't want to call it out. They didn't want to point it out. But my point here is, if it's really soft quarter three on the JP side, what is doing that? It's probably the competition from the other games, and I'm going to show you the other games in just a moment. But my point here is, going back to the main crux of this video, is the English side. Now I know people are saying English side, we have Union Arena. It's not going to be as fun of a game to play. But I will tell you that's not what all encompasses this. And maybe some people actually like the gameplay. Who friggin' knows? On Twitter, or X at this point, official Union Arena English version account asked you this. Today we have a question for all of our followers. Which of the following will be your purpose for buying Union Arena product? And you're going to see people like to collect this, people want to play this, and some want to do both of them. 10%, curious enough, said not planning to buy it. So I got some hate followers out there. I mean, hey, I got some hate watchers out there. It's nice that they joined the party with me. Now we got, because they're 10%. Why are you following them and answering this if you're not actually intending to do any of it? Maybe it's people. Nah, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna move on. So you can see here, there's people that are willing to do all of the above. Now I'm gonna just show you the competition here, right? This is going to be your Union Arena releases on the JP side coming up. We got Gakuen Idol Master, Windbreaker. I love that one so much. 100 Girlfriends Who Love You So Much. I know there's a bunch of people that wanted that. Undead Unluck, Shy. Shy was like one of my, I don't want to say guilty pleasures. That's not it. I mean, it was very wholesome. I enjoyed it. It was one of those ones where I'm like, I was on the borderline of like, why am I watching this? But at the end, every week I'd come back and watch it. And then you have, of course, Attack on Titan. Now flipping over to the JP side of what's coming out, we got Idol Master, Laid Back Camp, which I totally love. And then you have Rurouni Kenshin. The card art looks pretty good on that. And then Crayon Shinchan. Now, you take a look at those. You compare them. Which would you rather have? Maybe a little bit of each, right, from each game. There's no solid hits. Now take a look at the English side for Weiss Schwarz. We got Chronicle Set, Sword Art Online, Fate Zero, Shana Premium. You got a Ambassador set for Hollow Live, Love Live School Idol Festival Premium Booster Box, Ayakashi Triangle, and lastly, Premium Booster Box Hollow Live Collection. Now, when I take a look at this, I'm like, maybe I want one of these. and then I'll probably buy, a single of another. But outside of that, let's say like two. Flipping over here, Union Arena releasing October 2024. And, these are the releases that come in October and beyond. And you look at that, I'm like, holy crap, One Punch Man. One Punch Man was like one of the things I asked for initially when I saw Mob Psycho. I'm like, okay, you got Mob Psycho, where's One Punch Man? And then, you know what? Union Arena, there you go. You got JJK, you got Bleach. I mean, just look at this lineup here. It's freaking amazing. I definitely want 5 out of 6 of those. I mean, this gets me all excited. I know some people don't like the card art of Union Arena. Some people do. Some people don't like the card art of Weiss Schwarz. You'll hear that to the end of time that, they don't want to see that stuff either. But what I will say is Union Arena got some great things going for it. Weiss Schwarz got some good things going for it. Can you imagine the combination of those two when they think about art? I mean, it'd be pretty amazing if someone wanted to do that. I mean, why not? Okay, and then you're gonna go, well, I don't see Hololive here. Hololive's freaking amazing. Well, if you forgot, Hololive is coming out with their own TCG. This is coming out on, it says here, September 2024 JP side. And I would imagine eventually they're going to push that out on English. Remember, it's help made by Bushiroad. And when I talk about that, I think they're somewhat forced into doing that. This is probably the better of the two options of letting of them making it or having someone else make it. They also have Quintessential Quintuplets TCG, which is also being produced by Bushiroad, and you could see that on the JP announcement stream. They were just showing these cards off. So there you go. They showed a little bit of play there. If you want another reason to collect Union Arena, if you're saying, they don't have enough for me, here you go. Here's one of the action point cards. If that's not enough for you, if you love mobile games, here you go as well. I didn't even talk about the other games yet, but here we are. We have OSICA. This is Highschool Dxd Hero coming out June 28th, 2024. If you have not seen some of these card previews, freaking amazing. And I will tell you, I'm not going to be putting them all in this video at this point, but you get the idea. I mean, this thing is going to be inside of Fujimi Volume 2 as well. It's in Fujimi 1, it'll be in Fujimi 2. There he showed that on the JP announcement stream for Weiss Schwarz. Now you also have Build Divide, and we just so timely had a release of Bocchi the Rock. This is going to be Build Divide's premium booster pack of Bocchi the Rock, and what do you see here? You have limited cards, 6 to be exact, of each of these cards with hand signatures, and the coolest part is I love how they use the colors on here that matches the girls. It's really amazing to me just seeing these cards. I love that they wrote thank you down there. Freaking awesome. Can you imagine this on your Weiss Schwarz card? Can you imagine some of the serial numbers with the hand signs on there? I mean, again, you take a look at what other people are doing in the other card games, and if someone could just mash all of this together, you will have some amazing collector interest for you, and that's what's been missing from Weiss Schwarz. I know people are somewhat excited about the card price increase because of the releases lately, because of the lack of, let's say, people buying into the sets. They're hoping for singles to be out there, and that's not what's happening. I mean, if you're interested in that, I mean, I guess that works out in the short term, but what does that really mean in the long term? That is not a good thing. When you have dwindling amount of people buying into the product, we've seen that with the quarterly numbers, right? I just showed you right there. I mean, it doesn't specify what game it did, but I'm gonna guess some of it was Weiss Schwarz, because you got to see what was released that quarter. You're gonna see what's released next quarter in Q4, and it's not gonna be as pretty. It's not gonna be at all. And there's gonna be a bunch of people that are saying, Weiss Schwarz can fix this. I'm one of those people, and they totally can, right? What do they need to do? They need to diversify their IPs. They need to make the case hits actually better. You got to make it special, meaningful, like it used to be. I mean, people are stepping up their game, and for whatever reason, you have chosen not to because you got complacent. You're like, people are going to buy your stuff no matter what. We'll just slap some foil on there. We'll give you 100 to 150 parallels, and people are just going to love it, right? Look, Nikke Bunko had so many hits, and what did you do? You put 3 SPs inside of a case. You put 2 SRs inside of a booster box. It's just really, really bad. And, one day, I mean, maybe you'll change. Maybe you will. But is it too late by then? Because people are going to move on to something like Union Arena that draws their attention more. And maybe the 6 that I showed you up front aren't going to be IPs that people want to collect right away. But there's definitely going to be more coming, as you saw. And if you have stuff like this with Build Divide, maybe that explains why you took a hit on the JP sales. Or maybe it's the economy over there altogether, right? I know it's not doing very well, and the yen is going through some turbulence there. But for anybody, by the way, if you want to travel to Japan, this is probably a good time to do so outside of, let's say, weather. But the currency exchange is pretty amazing. Buying anything and having it shipped to where you live, for the most part, should be very well for you. Now, I say all these things again. I mentioned this because I love Weiss Schwarz. I hope they improve in the future because I I enjoy this. I enjoy this a lot. And it hurts me to see this time after time and again. And I say this on my Dengenki child deck opening. It's just the truth. Like, this is one of those games that I enjoy seeing. I love people enjoying the game, collecting it, and all of that. But what is happening is just devastating. I think it just hurts. So, anyways, if you have any more comments, feel free to write it down below. Or reach out to me in any of these other ways. Maybe Bushiroad will listen to us one day. Maybe they won't. And no matter what, I'll be here with you to the end. But as always, have fun, be happy, and don't spend anything outside your budget. Have a good one.